This is BBC Surrey.
And I'd like to bring you a very moving story. After years of living away from their families, Pete and Nikki Fagg from Farnham last year moved back down south. Their dream was to restore and live in a derelict windmill, which has been in Pete's family for more than a century, around Kentway, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In fact, their story was featured on C4's Restoration Man. I think it was the 5th of January that it went out. I watched the programme early this morning, and it really does make for a very moving viewing, because during the restoration of this windmill, Nikki Fagg died of cancer. She was looked after for a time at the Phyllis Tuckwell Hospice. Thousands of pounds in donations have come in since the programme was shown. Pete is here with us in the studio, as you know, as you just heard him, along with Nikki's sister Shelley. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Pete, first of all, talking about what you had to go through, I mean, attempting to do the restoration of the windmill, I mean, when you first looked at it and it was completely derelict, I thought you have to be mad to try it, and then to have to go through what you and your family went through and what Nikki was going through at the time must have just made it almost impossible. I'm amazed you finished it.
Thank you. I mean, it was pretty tough. I think Dad described it as some space surrounded by some bricks or something like that, basically, before we started.
It was. That's what it looked like. It looked like a chimney.
Basically, yeah, but not even a very good chimney with holes all over it. But I grew up with it, and I've been, watching it get sort of worse and worse over the years. Always wanted to do something with it. Nikki had cancer about 5 years ago, and it was actually just through the sort of the revelation of that and the fact we wanted to be back down south. We were up in Hull at that time, that sort of moved us to actually get on with it and do something with it. So
in terms of the chronology, you started the project in 2008, is that right?
It's probably about right in terms of planning permission, but we actually started building August 2010.
And when did Nikki get her second diagnosis that the cancer had spread?
February 2011.
So pretty soon afterwards.
Yeah, we were about 6 months in, 7 months in, something like that.
And the television programme and the crew came back and filmed you for the programme post that diagnosis, and Nikki was talking very openly about how much time she had left. What was happening to your relationship? What was happening to you? What was happening to the project at the time whilst you were having to deal with all this?
It was... Well, it had to go on, basically.
That was a decision that you took together?
Yes, yeah, we took that together and we said, no, it has to go on.
Because a lot of people would say, okay, let's leave this building behind, let's go on a cruise, let's spend what time we can together, rather than worrying about, men in hard hats lifting.
No, we weren't in that position at the end of the day. Nikki was well enough to enjoy lots of little trips and snippets and bits and bobs, but she wasn't well enough to go abroad or do anything like that. And it was really a marvellous sort of focus in some ways. She got to see the cap go on that mill 95 years after it blew off. So that was amazing. Even just that day was amazing.
How hard was it for you to continue allowing the film crew into what was going on?
I think we made that decision very early on. There was already quite a story there, and made that decision very early on that they should carry on and the story should be told. And I think... No, actually, for me, it wasn't a tough decision. I think it needed to happen. There was a story to be told, and there's some amazing good coming out of it now.
Well, yes, I mean, not only have you got a wonderful record of that time together, which has been broadcast on national television, you've had a response.
Yeah.
Which, did it surprise you? Because there was no overt appeal for any monies towards what had happened and anything like that as the programme went out, but people obviously responded to it as human beings do.
Yeah. Well, we've set up a trust in Nikki's name to actually raise awareness and raise money for pain control for Nikki's actual problem, which was bone cancer at the end of the day.
Oh, was it?
It spread into the bones. Okay. And, so we've set up this trust to actually, make something good happen out of it.
And the reason you are here, Shelley, is because you are running a marathon to raise funds for this trust.
Yes, indeed.
Not Pete, I noticed.
No, he got out on that one. I'm actually running on behalf of Phyllis Tuckwell Hospice.
Oh, directly for the hospice itself?
Yeah, they were incredible throughout our journey as a family, supporting both my mother, Nikki, and I. And really, I just want to say thank you to Amber and the team there for the amazing work they do. So it actually costs the hospice $15,000 a day to be able to offer their services, which are free, and I want to be able to raise that amount of money to be able to say that we've done it. So I'm running with my husband Marcus and our best friend Dan, and obviously for an amazing cause.
And just going back to Nikki and her life and the projects that she took on and the way that she seemed to come across on camera, it must be dreadful going through losing a sister in the prime of her life.
Yeah, I mean, Nikki, we all knew she was special, but I think now everyone's seen that programme, just her strength and courage was just incredible, and a real testament to sort of Pete, my parents, everybody that helped, supported her through. Yeah. And she was an amazing girl, and there's no getting away from that. And yes, it's incredibly difficult, but if there's something we can do to help other families, not to have to go through what we've just been through, and it's still incredibly painful, then we'll do anything we can to help.
I'm going to ask you to give out the Phyllis Tuckwell Hospice website and the Trust website in just a moment, but before I do, what have you done with the windmill? Have you kept it? Have you sold it? What are your plans?
It's got to stay in the family. That was the whole plan, was that...
even with all those memories surrounding it, and if you move on in your life, are you going to be able to deal with that kind of thing?
Yeah, Nikki gave me permission to do that, to be honest. She wrote to me and gave me permission to use it and move on with it. Yeah.
I bet it was very emotional having to read that.
Yeah.
So where are you in your life now?
I don't know. I think at the moment I'm surfing. Surfing is sort of a crest of a very, very strange wave. Trying to make sort of the most of a situation that is hideous at the end of the day. Yeah. But if just sitting in front of you here means that we can raise awareness of a vaccination that could stop this for hundreds of girls a year, and is not actually being delivered just simply because 25% of them don't return their consent forms, for instance, then it would be amazing if we can actually get some real positive good to come out of it.
OK, Shelley, this is your cue. What are the website addresses for the Phyllis Tuckwell Hospice and the trust that Peter set up? OK,
for Nikki's Trust, it's www.NikkisTrust.co.uk.
And Nikki spelled with two Ks, am I right in saying that?
NikkisTrust.
So NikkisTrust.co.uk. Yeah.
And if you want to sponsor us with donations going to Phyllis Tuckwell via our marathon link, it's www.justgiving.com/NikkiFag.
Shelley and Pete, thank you so much for coming in this morning and sharing
your
story.
Thank you very much.
It's lovely to meet you. It's 3 minutes to 9.
This is BBC Surrey.